Hello and welcome to a quick podcast. I just put together here some thoughts, some things that come to mind. I thought I would share for the point of benefit around a topic that has been on my mind, on my heart for 15 years, 20 years or so, even longer, during a part of my career, perhaps where I was traveling, where I was, interacting a lot with different kinds of organizations, different kinds of experiences, one can say. And fast forward to today, where we're seeing actually what has been on my mind for a very, very long time being formalized and into something that's very kind of empirical, very tangible. I'm talking here about customer experience. What in the latter time is being abbreviated to what we refer to as in abbreviated form as CX, which is of course accompanied by UX, which focuses the user experience very much on the technology and the user interactions. It's an intrinsic part of that whole piece on customer experiences, how we deal with them. Let me just clarify a little bit more here. So the customer experience is now being defined as, you could say, a cumulative summary of all of the interactions that a customer has with your company, okay, or an entity has with your company. Because when we'll be looking on the next slide at the customer journey concept, then many people, many individuals, or organizations may show an interest in your company, but may never be your customer, right? Or what may sadly happen is they may become your customer and then even make an intentional, you know, um, deliberate decision to not be your customer again. This is very, very important here, okay? A Nielsen study across 56 countries found that 92% of consumers, talking about the consumer market, right? They would they purchase based on recommendations from a friend or from family. How many times when you want to buy something, right? You'll go and look at the review on Amazon, right? Here in the UK, I'll go to some of the retailers local, and I'll see their comments for I want to buy such and such vacuum cleaner, right? But I will read the reviews. I will not only look at the website and how impressive it looks there, but I will want to look at the reviews of other people who bought that better. Well, look, um, there are many benefits of having, just as organizations have strategies, right? The strategy of the whether it be a public or a private sector organization, it has a strategy. Okay, therefore, customer experience. There needs to be a customer experience strategy as well, so to speak. Okay, it is if you think if you're familiar, for example, with the balanced scorecard concept developed by Norton and Kaplan, something I've worked with quite a bit, then you have you have the top level of the financial, right, perspective. Then what's the next one is the customer perspective, right? So the customer perspective is important, but now we're drawing this out into a complete area of its own because it's so important. It is absolutely so important. And so customer experience projects and initiatives do need to understand their raison d'etre, where they fall within that organization, right? Are there other bits and pieces of customer experience work that have been that are being done in other parts of the organization, right? Maybe over there in corporate planning, they've got a balanced scorecard. Maybe over there, the board of directors have some kind of strategy document that they've approved, right? Maybe in the different organizational service provider, departmental functions, there are KPIs, that people are being measured on, and it can be all kind of scattered. So it's an important thing that whoever is involved with the CX strategy, with working with the customer experience enhancement, be at least cognizant and aware of everything that's happening across the landscape within the organization, and any interactions that are happening externally as well, with suppliers, right, or with customers. So they're having that end-to-end view of what's happening. Okay, the benefits um, of having, of enhancing your customer experience, right? That and remember, think of the journey. Let me just show you the slide. What do I mean by journey, right? This is a very kind. This is maybe more typical kind of an Amazon or a purchase kind of thing, right? But it happens to products. It happens to services. It happens. It happens at that psychological, almost subconscious level, right? Where some people are more left brainers, some are more right brainers. The left side being kind of logical, analytical, numerical way of analyzing, and the right one being more kind of emotional, feelings, experience, right? And it is that right brainer which are those higher things, those kind of, why do people like your brand? Why do people want to stay in one hotel over another, even though it might cost 40% more, and it's not necessary that they can afford it? But they will dig deeper into their pockets and pull out that extra 40%, so to speak, to pay to stay in a particular hotel for a reason, right? People have thoughts, feelings, desires, emotions, right? They are looking to fulfill some kind of need. They're looking for some kind of belonging. They want to feel that this organization cares about them, that they care about them as a person, right? On an individual basis, right? They want to develop an affiliation with that brand. And that when we study this journey, right, when we're looking at the left there, if you see that, it just says searching, right? And that's what we need to understand, that a lot of people are going to search and look at your company from afar, and they're just going to walk away. Let us go to the end of that journey on the extremity of the right hand side. Let's say that beyond review and share, let's say that customer no longer needs your product. Let's say, for example, it was to do with a disability, right? They had a walking disability, so they were buying or taking a product or service fee related to the disability that they had, right? And that person, becomes cured. So they retain full health, and an alleviation from that sickness, that disease, that disability, and they no longer require your product or service. But you'd want them to review and share, right? You'd want them to recommend you to others, right? There's one other thing that I was with a telecom provider some years ago, and I'd left them, right? And now around 5 or 6 years have gone by, and guess what? I've gone back to them. I'd left them for a particular reason. There was poor service. I wasn't getting value for money, and so on. But today I've gone back to them, and there's a reason behind that, right? They had something that could attract me back, even though I'd left them. And I didn't necessarily leave as a very pleased customer. Today, I'm using the same organization, and I'm extremely pleased. I'm pleased with the quality I'm getting. Yeah, the support has improved. In contrast to what it was, X number of years ago. So there is something that pulled me back, and there's something that's keeping me with them at the present time as well. Okay, now we some of the benefits. I just wanted to make this a quick, a short and sweet one. Some of the benefits, the organization who invest well in their, in their CX, right? They're going to have a competitive advantage. They're going to have more. They're going to acquire more customers. They're going to have more meaningful interactions. They're going to have less money spent on marketing, less wasted, less cost. The brand is going to be something trusted, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know about you, but myself, for example, I will, sometimes I'm traveling to a part of the world, okay, where I don't have access to a particular product of a particular brand, okay. I will wait, and I may not have access to it for 6 months, or 3 months, or 9 months, or a year, or whatever, right? Or maybe I can't afford it. It's available in that place, but it's unaffordable, and I need to go and buy this product from somewhere else. Brands are so powerful in my mindset as a consumer that I will wait. I will wait a year. I will wait a year until I'm going to travel to a place to buy a particular product. And guess what? That product might cost an arm and two legs. It might be beyond my ability, to just snap up in the next couple of weeks. But I will wait patiently. And do you see how do you see how powerful a brand can be? And if that's the effect of me, I can well understand all the studies and the reports that indicate again and again, right, about the importance of, across whichever sector you're talking about, aviation, healthcare, the hospitality industry, technology, right? Retail, whichever industry we're looking at today, there is a there is a demand from the consumer. The consumers now have much more information at their fingertips. They are very easily able to switch. They're very easy switch their loyalty, right? And using social media and different methods, they're able to, even, I was looking at a news report just yesterday about a company, I think we buy anycar.co.uk, I think it's a UK car provider, who had agreed to purchase a car from a customer, I think for £33,000 or whatever, some Jaguar or whatever, and they suddenly changed their mind without telling them, and it caused them a lot of problem. Well, what he did is he actually went to the newspapers, and it's become national press, and the name, the damage of that one mistake, right? Maybe it was just to save £3,000 or £4,000, has actually translated into something that could become an incredible loss for that organization. It's just that one mistake of organization, especially when you're working at that scale, at that level, when you're generating sometimes millions and millions, right? The customers can be ruthless, right? So we need, as organizations, to understand that. Another advantage of all of this is that, the products and services that we develop for our customers, they're becoming more, and they're becoming of a higher quality. They're becoming more closer to what the customer really wants, what they need and what they want. We're, as service providers, as organizations, we're listening to our customers and using their feedback in product design, into service design, right, and into improving the support that we offer. Right now, every organization can't do everything, right? Otherwise, we would have unlimited budgets and so on, which we don't, right? But having a CX strategy allows you to establish consistency in the experience that your customers have with you, right? So there are companies, for example, who focus very much on the quality of the product, but their support is not. I think about Dropbox, for example. Okay, I use Dropbox. It is it is the most amazing, for me personally, the most amazing file synchronization application on the market. I've used probably all of them that are at the market, and I left Dropbox and then I came back to them, and I'm going to stay with them, right? Unless if there's a major hiccup, I'll stay with them for life. Okay, their support isn't that amazing. It's actually closed on the weekend. I only like to use chat support because I multitask. I don't really have time to make phone calls and things. I'm extremely busy. So I'll open a little chat session, let it kind of run in the background. Meanwhile, I'm doing other very important work through the course of my day. And Dropbox chat is not available on the weekend, right? So in their strategy, what they've done is they focused very heavily on the product, but they have trimmed a little bit in terms of the support. There are other organizations who are the opposite. Their product is weak and their support is stronger, right? And there are companies, I won't mention their names, whom I use their services for that. The reason being is because their product works, it does the job for me, right? But because it's in an area where I lack knowledge and I need that support, and I've got someone there 24/7, 365. I can log in, open a chat session, put screenshots of my problem, and it gets solved. They're patient. They will sit with me. They'll explain things to me. Even if it takes 6 hours, they'll be there for 6 hours. I don't pay anything extra for that, right? So, and that's what keeps me as their loyal customer, month in, month out, year in, year out, and the same here as well with Dropbox. Staying with these organizations for what turns out even decades over time, right? Um, it is another one of the things that so there is by planning out a journey of the interactions that not just a customer but, as you know, a prospect is someone who is interested in your products and services, but hasn't yet become a customer, right? But they haven't yet, bought anything from you. They're still interested, right? And so you need to have a piece around kind of the marketing, the sales, and so on. But the CX strategy, even if your project on CX doesn't, there's a separate department for marketing, there's a separate department for, for sales and so on. Make sure that at least you are connected with them and you're having the conversations. You understand what they do, how they do, and that you're trying your best as possible to at least be equipped as a minimum with the maximum information it can, so that when you deliver your CX enhancements project and that you deliver, what you've agreed as part of your project, that at the very minimum you have given them value as well. All right, as well as the all of the other entities who are involved. Okay, now, um, when we, you know, it's important to understand that there are many touch points that come in here, right? So, for example, I did a project for a university, and we were looking at their technology provision, for example, and support. So their touch points were that, that being a university, like a student could come with their laptop and it isn't working properly, and they actually had a little office they could go and physically give their machine to somebody, right? They actually have physical touch points, right? If you're in retail, you will have those shops, right? I worked for a telecom operator where we literally went into the shop of of our retail outlets, and we looked at the customer experience. We looked at the time it took to provide a SIM card for a customer, a prepaid customer, and we were astonished by some of the findings that we found, and it kind of trickled through into a project, a mini project by itself, to reduce to look at the to look at the what was happening there, to look at the interactions of the customer service agent, to look at the CRM application, analyze its complexity and things like this. It spun off into an initiative by itself, and we were able to vastly reduce within a 3-4 month period. That little project was just a little bit of area was take a fourfold decrease in the service time of servicing of a new customer, activating their SIM card. We need to bear in mind that when we're doing this customer mapping, you look at the role that different stakeholders play, right, through your organization. So for a telecom provider, you have your regular consumers, but you also have enterprises as well. You have corporations, you have businesses who take your products and services, right? And so you need to think about all the different customer groups that you have and analyze them individually, right? You need to look at all of the activities. This would lead to some kind of business process framework, right? And you're looking at all of the processes that happen at this stage, all of the processes that take place during the lifetime of that. Number one, in terms of them taking your products and services, and number two, in terms of support, right? And they're and you can't escape from any of these areas. You can't say I'm going to focus on my products and support products and services, but I don't really have time to look at the support, because the whole one of the drivers, one of the we could say one of the ethos, one of the one of the foundation reasons for why customer service has come up is that we need to give our customers that kind of that kind of in order to have that customer centric thing, we have to give them a consistent experience, right, across the board, across the channels, and so on. Okay, so now what we'll do is here I have hopefully given you a summary of some of the key aspects around CX. Okay, it is now an established science. Organizations are understanding that they need. It's often best to have an outsider, right? Because people within your organization are going to be looking at, are not necessarily going to have, if I'm working as a customer care agent, in this part of the student journey, right? I deal with, I work by phone and through the application. There's some queues where I pick up, log tickets, support tickets. I might not want to shoot myself in the foot. It happens. It's human nature, right? It is often a good idea to bring in an outsider, an expert, right, who can wear the shoes of your customer and who can walk through those different channels, right? I did this for a kind of an exercise for a telecom operator, where I even took their SIM card, and when I scratched it and the foil, bits that came off, they stuck to my shirt, and I put that as a note. I made a note that um, when I called the customer call center, of how long I had to wait and what time of the day it was, right? And then the interaction with the staff who were talking on the phone, right? Do I have to repeat the same information when I'm passed from one customer agent to another when I call back the next day, right, or 2 or 3 days later? Do I actually have to go through the whole thing again? Right? Am I getting when I've hung up the phone, and for example I've cancelled the service. Am I still getting SMS, text messages on my phone for a service outage when I'm no longer even a customer? There, there's a holistic, best practice, comprehensive approach that CX brings to understand, to plan, to map, out customer experience, in a way that looks at both the qualitative aspect and the quantitative aspect in a holistic and complete manner. And astute organizations, as I'm sure you'll have picked up, are becoming aware of this more than ever before. Thank you for your patience, and I hope you benefited from this recording. Your comments are always most welcome to me via email. You'll see my email address there, mail@musab.co.uk. The intent of this recording really was just, take some thoughts from my mind, put them into a quick recording just to share with you, and I will be sharing with yourselves, at the right time, much more comprehensive information about exactly how to do this. What are the common mistakes that are made? What is the best practice approach to do this, to do it properly and effectively, as I have seen in organizations, and as I've studied the best practice on this, as what's happening, and it's a big thing in industry right now. I look forward to your emails. I appreciate them, and I wish you all the best. Goodbye.